All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, this next session is always a fan favorite as it's the first opportunity to get an insider's look at all of the amazing new features that are being announced as part of Akeneo's spring release. So please allow me to welcome to the stage Akeneo's Principal Product Marketing Manager, Virginie Blot, and Senior Solutions Engineer, Joshua Gwynn.
Hi everyone, welcome to this product keynote. We are really super excited to be here with you today to cover the new capabilities under the spring release. I'm Virginie Blot, Product Marketing Manager at Akeneo, and in my role every day, I have the privilege of working closely with the product teams to bring new features to life and to ensure they deliver the maximum of value to you, our users.
And I'm thrilled to be here to actually demonstrate these innovations live for you all. I'm Joshua, Senior Solution Engineer right here in the US.
Thank you, Joshua, for helping demoing all those capabilities. For those of you who already joined the opening keynote earlier or watched the replay maybe already, you may have heard about the Great Restack. And by the way, this is the theme of this spring release 26. If not, here is one thing to take away. What we call the Great Restack is a fundamental shift in commerce where product truth, product information, is no longer a downstream asset, but the center of gravity of the entire business. But here is the challenge. A center of gravity is useless if it's static. I mean, in today's world of radical uncertainty, where marketplaces keep changing their requirements, search engines evolve overnight, and AI systems redefine how your products are discovered and soon purchased, a traditional PIM, a linear one, step by step, is always one step behind. I mean, what does it mean to wait for a data model to be final, to take action and to make it evolve? By the time you adapt to today's requirements, Google, Amazon, ChatGPT, you name them, have already changed the rules. This is what we call the infinite enrichment gap, what Romain, our CEO, and Sarah earlier named as the perpetual rework tax. This is exactly that. And so today, Joshua and I are going to show you how we break that cycles. We are moving from a traditional static system of record to a responsive system of intelligence, a system that senses market signals, suggests the right evolution for your catalog, and scales those improvements across your entire organization. And this is exactly how we are going to walk you through the capabilities of this spring release in 3 steps: sense, suggest, and scale. We call this vision the self-improving catalog. So let's make this real. Let me introduce you Matcha Design, a trusted homeware and bedding brand we'll use today for the demo. Like many organizations, they've been facing exactly the same challenges we just described. But Matcha made a strategic decision 2 years ago. They invested in a scalable product cloud foundation with Akeneo. And today, that foundation is what allows them to adapt at the speed of the market. Now, before we dive into the demo, let me introduce you the people behind the scene at Matcha. But actually, I won't introduce them by names because let's be honest, who would remember 7 fictional names and their jobs during the whole keynote? I'm not even sure you remember our names, but I think it's written. So indeed, delivering a great product experience is never the job of one single team, and this has never been so true. It takes a village. Inside Matcha, several teams contribute to the product experience every day. Of course, there's the e-commerce team, responsible for visibility and performance. There's the data architecture team, structuring the catalog so it can evolve with the market. There's the supplier teams onboarding data from dozens of partners, the merchandising team making sure products tell the right story, the marketplace team ensuring compliance with constantly evolving channel requirements, the CSR and compliance teams managing sustainability and regulation, and the customer experience teams who rely on trusted product knowledge to support customers every day. Each of these teams work on a different piece of the puzzle. That probably sounds familiar and may resonate, at least in part, with how your own organization are structured. But the real challenge is that their work is deeply interconnected and their responsibilities are constantly evolving. New roles are emerging. I mean, who owns AI discoverability today? How your products are discovered by AI system? Who is responsible for GEO? Is it e-commerce team? Is it SEO? Is it content? Or maybe IT or data? The truth, I guess, is it's all of them. And every time a new channel appears, every time search evolves, every time AI changes the rules, the organization has to adapt. Those teams need to be able to collaborate in one single place where they can align and evolve. And that place, you guess it, must be the product cloud. And to illustrate that today, Joshua is going to play all of those roles, all of them, Magic Joshua. So Joshua, let's start at the beginning of the loop. How does Matcha stop guessing and start listening to the market? How do they sense the signals?
Yeah, so thanks, Virginie. You're exactly right. So right now, Matcha, they have plenty of data, but it's silent. So like you said, as we go through this keynote today, I'll be playing the role of the entire PXM team here at Matcha. Now, they currently work with about 20-ish suppliers globally around the world. So as you can imagine, the quality and structure of that data, it can vary wildly. So I'm going to start off today by playing the role of Matcha supplier manager, Daniel. So here, Daniel from the supplier team, he just received a new product submission. Now, traditionally, the teams would just import the data and deal with any issues later. But here, something different happens right there. So we can immediately now analyze the submission from the same product grid we use every day. And right away, we detect something important. So these products, some of them are missing sustainability certification data. Now, that might sound small, but in today's retail environment, missing sustainability attributes actually can block distribution entirely. So this is actually going to be our first signal, the signal from the supplier.
Yes. So this will definitely ease the business relationship with our business partners, mostly where they are external to our organization. Thanks a lot, Joshua. And we know that Matcha also sells some of their own products on Amazon. How can Akeneo help Matcha's team enhance their vendors' experience?
Yeah, so I'm going over here into the activation that we all know and love. This is where you could take that data from Akeneo, pull in those channel requirements, map those to those channels, and then get immediate feedback, including any errors. But some errors are more subtle. So in the case of Amazon, they often require specific attributes, but only after a primary choice is made. For example, if you say something is made out of organic cotton, it might suddenly need a certification. In this case, you can see that this dangerous good regulations here, it's one of those ones that has those conditions on it. So you can see right here exactly what's going on. So if these things apply, then this is applicable. Or maybe it could change those values that are there. And the problem is that these are usually invisible. And they can cause things to get rejected late in the process. It's actually the most common reason that things get rejected, right? So these missing attributes, a lot of times those are going to be dependent attributes that we just didn't know about. And so with the conditional targets guide, Alex can now see these logic dependencies right up front before the product's even submitted.
Okay, so what used to be a hidden rules or some hidden rules from marketplaces is now an explicit signal. And is there a way to know in advance what each channel expects, Joshua? Because Amazon is probably one of the most advanced one, not to say the most advanced one, but we know that they are not all equal. Matcha also sells on some more local vendors, boutique. So how can we make that easier?
Yeah, sure. So this is also something that's new with the spring release. So Alex no longer has to guess at what each channel expects. He could access the marketplace requirements directly inside of Akeneo. And then from here, he can just pop in the different channels that he wants to send the data, whatever those are. He could pop in multiple if he wants to. And after he does that, he could pop in the different categories that he sends there. So in this case, maybe we send pillows. Maybe we send, I don't know, some bedding. We could then download those requirements and have those. So no more digging through documentation, no more back and forth with the channel teams. This also leverages the community effect for these API channels. So whenever a customer connects once, everyone now has access to those requirements. And what really matters here is that the channel reacts instantly, or the system reacts instantly to what the channel is telling us. And this is going to be our second signal, a signal coming directly from the channel.
Okay, this is really time saving, a lot of time and effort saving. This really decreases validation errors by ensuring data compliance before the mapping phase even starts. So now let's move to the last but most powerful signal of all, the market, Joshua.
Yeah, so let's go over here, switch here now back into Akeneo's PIM. We're here on the PX Insights dashboard. So Liam from the e-commerce team is monitoring Matcha's performance, but not just across traditional search, but now across AI-driven discovery engines. And so today, visibility is no longer just about ranking pages. It's about whether or not AI understands your products, like this one. And immediately we can see something alarming. So customers are searching for things like what's a good solid wood bedside table with practical storage and an exotic design. But Matcha is not showing up, but our competitors are. And clearly we have this product, it's right there. And in this case, it's because the AI doesn't understand enough to recommend this product. And in this case, we could go here, we can see exactly why. So we can see our summary there. So the product did not service for a customer query focused on solid wood-side table because of this. Maybe we need to add some additional things such as storage or decorative detail and so on.
Okay, this is super interesting. So let me sum up, Joshua. This is not a traffic problem. This is not even an SEO problem. This is really what we call a discoverability issue, right?
That's exactly right. So in the era of generative engine optimization, GEO, AI is not looking just for keywords. It's looking for structured meaning to understand the intent. And PX Insights is showing us what the market is telling us. This is our third signal, a signal coming from the market itself.
Okay, so now Matcha has three independent signals. A supplier signals coming from the staging catalog in SDM, our supplier data manager, a channel signals through error resolution in activation, and a market signals from AI discovery in PX Insights. Different sources, same conclusion. The catalog is no longer aligned with the market. Matcha doesn't have a content problem, they do have a data model problem. For the first time, Matcha can clearly see the gap between how they describe their products and how the market expects to find them. And until now, connecting these signals back to the data model required time, expertise, and manual effort. What if you could take these signals and turn them into a clear, actionable evolution of your catalog? This is where, I guess, Joshua, the intelligence layer comes in. Can you show us how Matcha turns signals into action, please?
Yeah, sure. So let's just go ahead and pick up exactly where we left off here in PX Insights. So again, Liam, he's analyzing our performance across AI-driven discovery engines. And so it's not just traffic. Again, it's about AI actually understands and then recommends those products. And for most brands today, this is a black box. You don't know why you're being recommended. You don't know why you're not. And we help to open that black box. So in this case here, we can go down to our product data suggestions. And again, here it's telling us what's going on, giving us some recommendations like clarifying the storage in the description, maybe some things you might want to work on, our description, our product details, verify our dimensions and weight, update the images, and so on. Things that could actually help us to allow the AI to understand and then to recommend the products. So we don't just show you performance, we translate it into what's missing in your data model. And this is where it really becomes powerful, because we've actually built the first closed loop for AI commerce.
Yes. So we don't just tell you how your products rank or perform in ChatGPT, in a traditional query in ChatGPT. We tell you exactly how to fix your data to win better, to better surface, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And right from here, the e-commerce manager could act directly. So we could go down here, we could go to our new attribute suggestions. So in this case, it's saying that we should add, like was mentioned before, some things about some storage specification fields. It's asking us maybe we want to, add something like a storage type attribute, number of drawers, number of doors, shelf count. And so in this case, if we want to go ahead and do that, we just select that. And then from here, it's going to create a possible attribute, right? So an attribute that we might want to suggest. I could go ahead and take that and it generate for us that description, it generated for us a suggestion for that attribute type, and we can then submit that. And then I'll then run it through DAA's intelligence to then create that attribute with some additional routing. And the same idea applies throughout Akeneo, including activation. So back into activation over here. So earlier, we would know that we needed to map this to something, right? This dangerous good regulations here. So we go over here and try to map that with AI. And in this case, it wasn't able to find something for us. So I could just suggest a new attribute in the same way right from activation. I just click that. It'll then generate that for us with what Amazon needs here. It'll tell you, okay, we think this should be a text attribute. Here are the things that will be expected to be there. And I could then submit that just like that. I could add additional comment. Maybe I could say, this is for Amazon as an example, and then hit submit. Right. So these are the standards the marketplaces expect. But it also signals customers and AI. These are signals that they rely on. So we're not just adding a field, we're going to standardize how much it expresses itself across its entire catalog. So at this point, we maybe suggested a couple of attributes. So what happens then when we do that? So in this case, we can go over here to the dashboard. You can view this in a couple of places. The dashboard is one of those. And we can see right from here, we have a couple of things here, such as the storage type, like we saw before. So every signal that we've seen so far from the supplier, from the channel to the market, has now been consolidated into one single place. So going into here, we saw this in PX Insights. I could click that. We can see where it came from, and we can see that, okay, yes, this should indeed be a multiple select. Which attribute group should it go into? And I can hit submit. It'll then create that with all those possible options, right? And then we saw before when it came to this one, now we said maybe this should be text here, but it's smart enough to know it leverages the intelligence of the DAA, right? The digital architect agent, to look at that and say, actually, that should be a simple select. These should be the options for it. And then I can hit submit. So we can see all those that are coming in. We can see if they're ready to review, if they've been applied or declined. So each suggestion is now going to be tracked, reviewed, applied. So it's not just a list of ideas now. This is a centralized backlog for your catalog evolution.
I really like that. This is amazing. And by the way, people can notice also that we can customize the dashboard when you arrive at the top right of the screen. You can decide to display whatever makes sense for you on your daily life. So just inviting you to use that.
That's right. There's one more thing, though. I know that I've added these things, these attributes. And I know when it came to those dangerous good regulations, those should only apply in certain cases, right? So I want to have these show up only based on certain conditions. I can't remember how to do that, right? So what I could do now, I could actually ask Ziggy here. So I could go here and I could say, okay, how do I make an attribute required only when other attribute values are set? Okay. And we're going to ask Ziggy in this case. And Ziggy's going to look at this and it's going to understand the question, the content, your catalog. And from that, it's then going to give you an answer for it. So I don't know this. I want to ask how to do it. And you can see here, it gives me the correct answer there. So no more back and forth, no more reaching out to people. I can now ask right here to something that's trained on the context of your catalog. It's trained on Akeneo and through documentation. If I'm within a product edit form and I ask the question, it's going to understand it's about that and then give you that answer. And if you like that answer, we'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give it a thumbs down so we know how this is working. So just like that, I got what I was looking for. Now I know exactly where to go to start using it.
This would be super important, yes, to value, to judge the answer, the level of answer. By the way, Joshua, because of our, little faces, screens on the screen display, I'm not sure people saw the Ziggy where you click first. So if you can just, close the Ask Ziggy window and, move the little Ziggy to show the people where they can find their new AI assistant very soon. It will be released very soon. So yes, you will see that little Ziggy face on your environment, and at any time you can click on it and ask for any question. So this is really our closed loop system that transforms downstream signals into actionable PIM modeling decision. This is how your catalog becomes self-improving. Matcha didn't just react to signals. They didn't just fix individual issues. They built a system that learns from them. So if we summarize, from signals to suggestions, thanks to the responsive catalog modeling, gathering signals from market and channels. You remember, using the data architect agents, we can gather all the suggestions so that it avoids also back and forth between teams, because the people responsible for the marketplaces or for the GEO, SEO are maybe not the same responsible for the data modeling evolution. So thanks to the responsive catalog modeling, you can do that definitely faster. To decision, everything becomes easier to act on and reinforced by the brand new AI assistant, Ask Ziggy. So now let's see how Matcha can scale these improvements across their entire catalog and maybe beyond, Joshua.
Yeah, so let's first start with enrichment. So Matcha, they now have the right structure, right? So we're able to take those signals, turn those into suggestions and apply those. And we now need to apply these across the catalog, maybe thousands of products. And here's what's new. So within our, again here, AI configurations within Akeneo, we are not limited to just one model anymore. You now can have access to more advanced models, and you can choose which one is more relevant for each AI configuration. So if one model might be better for this thing versus this thing, you can do that. So you can choose from Akeneo's built-in model, or you can bring your own LLM. Now, scaling, though, is not just about generating text. It's about staying on brand. And now we can do that. So by leveraging reference entities, Matcha can ensure a consistent tone of voice, a consistent vocabulary, consistent positioning, things like a glossary, banned terms, some guidelines, etc., for their own products. And they can do the same for each and every brand they resell. So if I go over here now and look at this, we can see, we can go there. We can do this with the brand voice generation. And we can see this represents our brand much more closely than how we do than what it would do without those guidelines now. So this writes it. So it's not just about generating content, it's about generating your content in the way that you would.
Can you zoom in a bit, maybe, Joshua? So yes, this is also new. When we use AI, it suggests, it shows you before you validate or reject, before you decide to take that into account or not. You have the choice, you can compare. So this is really super useful and, by the way, super powerful and easy to adopt, I would say, because who does not use reference entities? We know that's probably the most popular feature used by Akeneo users all over the world. So you just have to create one or refine one and create or adapt your prompt, your AI configuration. So now one question remains, Joshua, because Matcha has hundreds, sometimes thousands of products, if you consider the existing ones, the already live one, sellable one. Where do they start? I mean, if they get all those suggestions, they can find it super valuable, but where to start? What to fix first?
Yeah, of course. So this is great. So this is where the new PX Insights home comes in. So instead of analyzing the products one by one, we can now see all recommendations in one place. Things like we could go over the top recommended suggestions. We could break it down by categories. We could filter into specific families. So this is not just insight anymore. This is prioritized action, a prioritized action plan at scale. So now the right teams can focus on the right actions.
Yes, and I think you can even refine that. At the top, we have some filters with the family. Like if I'm responsible for the pillows, bed linen, or baskets, I don't know, I can pre-filter that and I will get some refined insights so that I can take action on a specific family, a specific category, so I know where to focus on. Again, it analyzes all the products for which PX Insights has run, so I can take action on that. So this is really powerful and a concrete answer for our users looking for accelerating their AI readiness journey. So if we take concrete example, an SEO team, for instance, will focus on discoverability thanks to the data model suggestions. It is categorized. So if you look at data model suggestions, you can see that it's relevant for typically an e-commerce SEO team. You would have the data team focuses on the structure thanks to the technical ones. So if we zoom on the technical ones, you will see that it's really relative to building the data model. And the merchandising team, for instance, the content team will focus more on the content thanks to product data ones, meaning existing information that needs to be refined. So this is really how everyone is aligned at Matcha on what to improve first. Because again, insight without prioritization doesn't scale. So this is how Matcha turned insight into execution. This is how you move from reacting to individual gaps to orchestrating improvements across your entire catalog. What's next, Joshua? I want more. We want more.
Yeah. So, now once these priorities are clear, execution becomes more simple. And what a better way to do this with our new product grid here. So now we can go here and we could go and add additional attributes that we would just as we did before. We could actually, instead of just showing 25 products per page, we could choose to have 50 or even 100 rows of products per page. We could go over here. We could now reorder these things just by simply dragging them over, or go over here. We could sort these here with just one button. So no more going into here. And then if I wanted to sort it that way, I'd have to click it twice. Now I can just click it once with the way that I want to. And it's something else really cool. So in this case, once things get to 100%, we might want to have an additional step for Matcha to where they want to mark things as ready for distribution. And instead of having to hop into there and doing that within the product, we can now edit directly here on that product grid. So I can say, okay, this, and this are now ready for distribution. I can click on it just like that, save it, and edit it directly from that product grid. And now they're ready to distribute that data. How can we do that? So we need to share that. But not all audiences are going to need the same information. And this is where digital showrooms can come in. So we could create tailored product collections for internal teams, distributors, business partners, to where we could have one product catalog with multiple experiences. As an example, if I go over here, we can see for the digital showroom, we could have one for the on-site employees that has the products and the attributes they care about with filtering, with navigation. We could have one for our customer service team that could have a different selection of products and different attributes. And of course, for our distributors. But of course, distribution doesn't stop there. We can now syndicate our products to premium marketplaces, marketplaces that we couldn't before. Things such as maybe Target Plus. So this is a big deal. Target Plus is not an open marketplace. It's an invitation-only ecosystem. Only selected brands and selected technology partners are allowed in. You can also scale by creating your own custom channel. So if the channel doesn't already exist, you could click here and we could create that template to where we could have those custom channels that don't currently exist. We could have that done in just a few ways in a few days. And, as soon as that channel is live, any customer is able to fetch those requirements for that channel pre-connection. And we also help to connect to new agentic ecosystems like Stripe. So if I go over here, search for Stripe, just like that, there it is. So Stripe recently introduced its agentic commerce suite. It's designed to make products directly discoverable and purchasable within AI-driven experiences. This is where Akeneo plays a unique role, because we're the only PIM that can directly push product data into Stripe's agentic commerce system, so we can reach customers wherever they are. So from the PIM to every channel that matters for you.
And if you haven't heard yet about Stripe, trust me, you will hear about them super soon, for sure. So this is really distribution at scale. But even at that scale, every business remains unique. Matcha is unique, as every organization, every of Akeneo users is unique. So new channels, new use cases, new experiences your customers expect. So the question becomes, Joshua, what happens when what you need doesn't exist yet in Akeneo? What can we do?
Yeah, so this is also something that makes Akeneo unique. So with custom components, as we know, Matcha can extend the PIM experience. So if I go over, click over here into extension panel, we have something that is integrated into Shopify directly within Akeneo. So this is not something that is from Akeneo, but it looks like it's an Akeneo. You could access it in one spot. Before, we also showed you the digital products passport, right? From here, we can pull this up here. You get an idea about that digital products passport. And of course, this is more on the consumer side. So at Unlock, we vibe coded. Remember the DPP compliance. So, I know most of you weren't there, but just so you know, we did this live on stage. And this is something I've really loved. So I did it for the first time last week, and I've built a whole lot of cool stuff since then. Something like, creating variants from simple products, a 360 image view, and a lot of cool stuff. So I love this so much. Why don't we go ahead and build something live? So we're going to do this. We're going to leverage our extension framework, and so it's not going to require any external infrastructure or complex setup. So maybe over here, what I want to do is this. I want to build, in this case.
Oh, wow, you're doing it again.
Yeah, we're going to do it. And we're going to go right from scratch. So we'll go ahead and we want to build a retailer-specific pre-flight validator, right? So we want to have it to where we can maybe pull up some different channels on the right side, and it can show us how ready we are for this. So I'll go here. It's going to ask me some questions. It's going to guide me through this. And the first thing it's going to do is going to have me basically create a little hello world app here. So in this case here, I'm just going to say this. Okay. It's asking me to give it a name. I'm just going to take the one it gave me.
So you are building something new, right? Because we cannot read, so we trust you. If you zoom in, maybe, but even if we read, I'm not sure I will fully understand. But you told me that even myself, I could create something. So I will definitely try.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to tell it just to do everything. So it's asking me, do I want it to do everything? Do I want it to ask questions? And then how do I want it to upload? I'll say, I want you to upload it for me. So I'm saying, I don't want to do anything. You're doing it for me. Every single thing. So again, it's going to go into here. And the first thing it's going to do is just create a little test Hello World app and have me validate that. It's also going to ask me to pop in some credentials, which I will do. And again, this doesn't require any coding on your side, right? I've gone in, I've just given it a screenshot of something I wanted to build, and it built it for me with hardly anything else. Okay, so I'll say okay. Yes, do as you need.
Is it Claude that you are using?
Yes, I'm using Claude.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm just telling it to make its decisions for me. One thing I do know it's going to do is ask me to give some API credentials. Okay, here we go. All right. Yes. So, this is something that typically you would still probably be on hold, or you'd probably still be looking up the number for someone to make this for you. There we go. It's creating that for me. There we go. Right. And again, we're going from nothing in the beginning here. It's creating the scaffold. Okay, you can see it's making a little Hello World app for us just to get going.
And we will see something new in the PIM user interface, right?
We will.
That's what you are building. Okay.
Exactly. And just to be totally honest with you, it's asking me more questions than it has before, but that's okay. That's okay. I just want to make sure it's doing it right for everybody watching. Okay.
And how can you be sure it will be done in a few minutes? Is it telling you the time remaining or something like that?
No, I've done this a bunch of times,
The
and
steps?
it
Okay, so you know.
really take a lot of time. So we'll give it a second to do its thing. It'll do tests. It'll check for errors. You can see it found an error.
Okay.
It fixed it, just like that. Okay. All right, there we go. And again, this is me doing this just by explaining it. All I said is to create this pre-flight validator for places we'll syndicate the data. Okay, it's now going to tell me I need to populate my file with my API credentials. So I'll just do that real quick. I'll do that off screen. There we go. And I'll say, okay. Okay, create the extension for us. Now it's going to upload it for me. All right, I want to go here. See that it gives me the little hello world.
Yeah.
It does. And I will say, it works.
Show us the result.
Yeah, so far it's just giving us a little thing saying, hey, just want to make sure that it works. And then it will build the actual app. So again, it's going to take it, it's going to ask any questions that it needs to, and build it, test it, upload it, and then from there, if we want to make any changes, we just ask it in English. So you're just telling it what you want, and it's building it for you.
That looks fantastic. I'm just conscious of the time remaining, Joshua, 3 minutes. So I know that I still have some wrap up to do.
Go ahead.
So maybe we will go back to you if it's done.
Yep. No problem.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So if we can go back on the slides, this is where everything comes together. Joshua shows us live how to extend the platform also. So once Matcha knows what to fix, they can apply it at scale. And what we have seen so far for this last part is how to scale, how they enrich their content with the AI models of their choice, fully aligned with their brand voice, how to scale when they operate and prioritize data modeling improvement thanks to AI optimization, how they scale when they activate across every channel, every team, every audience with the digital showroom, and even extend their platform to build exactly what they need in less of 10 minutes, I would say. So over the past 40 minutes, we follow Matcha's journey from sensing signals to suggesting the right evolution to scaling across the entire organizations. Thanks a lot for illustrating this amazing journey, Joshua. And this is not just a better PIM. This is really a responsive product cloud, the self-improving product cloud. A system that doesn't just store product data, but continuously improves it. Because in the age of AI, the brands that win are not the ones with the most data. They are the ones whose data adapt the fastest. Before we wrap up, we'd love to hear from you out of everything you've just seen, which capability. So I will launch a poll, and if you can take just a second to answer to that question. Which capability are you most excited to try first? Please take a moment to answer. Is it supplier data manager, responsive catalog modeling, PEX insights, activation, bring your own LLM, Gen AI, brand aware, digital showroom, extensions, vibe coding like Joshua, ask Ziggy? What are you most excited about? I can see the number of votes increasing. I will stop in few seconds. I just let you the time for that. Yes, perfect. I see the votes are still coming. So I'm just waiting to reach a certain threshold. Thank you for answering. I'm closing here and I present the results now. So, look, Joshua, you give them feel like doing better and faster than you, maybe. No, extension, yeah, it's super exciting to adapt the PIM according to your own needs. PX Insights for sure. So thanks a lot for answering to that. So you get it, whether it's transforming product data into a sales superpower, meaning using digital showroom, building AI-ready data models, meaning using PX Insights, or mastering supplier data onboarding, meaning our brand new SDM, you'll have the opportunity to see how the new features, you have also some labs dedicated to existing features, can apply directly to your own organization and to ask all of your questions tomorrow. So don't miss that. We really encourage you to join. A final yet super important word. What you've seen today is just the beginning of something much bigger. Sensing, suggested, scaling, really, it's just the foundation. A future where product experience doesn't just improve, but acts. So later today at 5, in less than an hour, 5:05, we'll take you one step further. So don't hesitate, join our CPO, Andy, and Chuck, the Director of Product and Engineering, for an exclusive preview of what's next and how we are building the path toward an agentic product cloud. So thank you for joining. We really appreciate. Have a nice day, and thank you, Joshua.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Virginie and Joshua for that amazing keynote and demo. Now, up next, we're switching gears back to the customer perspective with a panel of experts who are all at different stages of AI maturity. So be sure to log into that next session, and we'll see you there.